I feel like this is about range the way that I. All right, namaste. Welcome to Divine Energy Tarot. I am Divine Energy. Welcome to my beautifully lit, abundant, and prosperous YouTube. Here on this channel, I like to do different spiritually related videos and content. If you enjoy it over here, make sure you hit the subscription down below, as well as the post notification so you're always alerted when I'm uploading to the channel. All right, bliss. I love y'all. All right, seriously, like who else could I talk to? No one else understands me. Y'all don't even know, for real, seriously. So what I want to do is I'm going to channel the energies here. I already have been channeling the energies. What I'm going to talk about today, we got a shadow report. Really be getting some top downloads here that I want to talk about. Okay, top meaning top tier, top level, the highest things that we need to know at this time, right? And that's what really has been coming through for us as a collective, right? So I want to tap into that with the shadow report. Now, the shadow report is brought to you because we all have a shadow aspect of us, a shadow part of us. Sometimes we don't necessarily express this part to the world because we're not necessarily thankful or grateful for the shadow aspect. We kind of look at it in a negative form, in a negative light, right? Um, if it wasn't for my shadow, I would be here, right? So shadow us, right, gets a negative, uh, you know, look for the most part. So it's an area of us that we want to constantly learn how to integrate. And without integrating it, that aspect, yes, of us, okay, we're unable to truly master our full potential, okay? Now, this week I've been channeling the message parents, old regret, addressing wounds to fix things at the root, hindsight, past hurts. Okay, I've been channeling that this week. Okay, parents wanting to fix these situations, occurrences, wounds, unaddressed hurt, addressing the hurt, addressing the wounds, opening the wounds. Things are still fresh for some of us, yes? So there's this sense of gentleness, sensitivity, okay, to the wound, right? While tending to it, right? I see a lot of energy of parents, whether you gave birth to these children or not, right? Just children, right? Um, it's just the energy here. It's like a lot of past hurt, resentment, right? So that's going to be coming up during this time with the shadow report here. Some sort of depression because things have been repressed for so long that there could be depression that has occurred. I'm seeing escapism. So there's going to be this sense of repairing something, and now you have to deal with the escapism that you created to deal with the trauma, right? So there's that. Yeah, the parents' messages that was really getting were, I mean, they were deep because there were so many about I was doing the best that I could, right? Parents doing the best that they could, whoever they were, right? Bless. That's the real thing. They doing the best that they could, even when they not doing the best for you. They did the best that they could. You see what I'm saying? We have as the children, right? The receivers, right, in that situation or the offspring, right? We have to take that in for a second. What do you do with that? There's no way you could go back and change it. Their relationships the way that they were, right? How things happen. So what do we do with the energy, right? We're learning here how to heal the self, right? And this is through the shadow aspect, diving deeper within ourselves to really address some of these things that maybe we've been putting off or unable to talk about, right? Because they were so painful of wounds, right? And really, the repair comes in addressing them, you know, to deal with something that's like dressing a wound, right? It's not in the ignoring of it, right? Also, I was picking up major vibrational shifts. Um, the vibrations are shifting, like, but in a major way, like an unknown way, a way not known to man. Let's say that, right? It could only be like God level experience. The way that how else could you explain it, right? I'm getting like the Mandela effect, time shifts, timeline shifts, accelerated timing. The reason why I'm getting this is because also I channel portals, and portals and frequencies are, they kind of in tandem, right? Because a portal is a portal due to the frequency it has, right? Now, it's something about that, us as a collective, how we're using that energy, whether it's an energy that's happening whether we know it or not, this effect of these shifting vibrations, right? Whether we're aware, conscious of it or not, right? This is happening. And it's kind of how we're activating something with deep within us, something unknown within us at this time. So I am also channeling that the shadow us, right? The shadow us wants us to give ourselves grace. Like refrain from like being hard on yourself, being negative on yourself, and holding yourself to um standards that's just punishment, for us, right? I feel like give yourself grace, you know. Wow, that's the Empress. Give yourself grace, you know, as we sit in front of Yemaya, right? It's fitting that's at the bottom of the deck, right? Give yourself grace, give yourself time, give yourself, honor during this time is what I'm getting. I'm picking that up heavy. A lot of honoring to the self, the soul, the temple, right? The altar, loving on you from a different way because you had to retrain yourself how to do that. Many of us honestly never learned that from a healthy perspective. So even as far spiritually, a lot of us are, right? There's a lot of root issues that we are actually, that's why they said we're fixing these issues at the root, they said, like quite literally, right? So that's why we are fixing these root issues here, right? High priest, high priestess, okay? Because at the core, there's things that we have not repaired, okay? And it's showing, right? If to no one else, to us. To thy own self be true. So also we have out that, let me read it exactly how I wrote it. That old lover who's too dependent and is using you, your energy, and feels entitled to you and everything that you do for this person, especially if that thing that you do for them feels like a small thing. It's a big thing because you're feeding their entitlement. Okay. So I also picked that up. You are feeding their entitlement. It's not what you do or the thing per se. It's the 1144 access to you, the draining of your energy because you care so much for someone else, and your shadow's telling you, hey, when are you going to care for you, right? You know, everybody mad at the shadow when the shadow is the only one that's really sticking up for us. It's the only part of you that sticks up for you, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for real, like, you know what I'm saying? Good, bad, and different. It's always gonna be for you, right? Your shadow. Whether you right, whether you wrong, think of it that way, right? That's the shadow. Whether you right or wrong, right? So when we mistreat in the shadow, right? The shadow always gonna be kicking and screaming to get our attention, to let us know, like, hey, you know, we can't let people treat us this way, right? So whether it's that dependent lover, whether it's that dependent mother, whether it's that dependent father, family, whoever it is, right? That coming up, right? Check it. To dive a little deeper, right? I gotta go off the rails with this, right? We are in Saturn and Pisces, y'all. Come on, till 2025. Like, stop playing right now. This is gonna be so uncomfortable. Okay? And it's gonna affect the all because Saturn is like the all. It represents that kind of all energy, right? And especially when it comes to structures and things. So, y'all, it's gonna get really uncomfortable. The thing is, what we can definitely depend on is that because it's gonna be that level of uncomfortability, that our shadow is gonna have our back. We can depend on that, okay? And I think that that is where you find the grace because the shadow is always wanting you to know, like, you know what I'm saying? For real, it be your best friend. Because how did you heal and come to that space of being able to operate in light and no longer darkness, right? Or at least a healthy balance of, yes, how did you, right? So it's that, and we have to embrace the shadow, right? Um, Embracing it looks like us being more graceful with ourselves. Some of us are still explaining to other people things that we have already worked out within ourselves. How are you going to explain to other people who know not you? They don't know you. How are you going to explain to other people who don't know themselves? Right? And it's not to say that you're better than anybody, but it's to say that you definitely have to look at yourself for where you are and how far you've come. You're not here by mistake, exactly at this pivotal moment in your life, this transformative moment in your life. That's why all of these portals are so important to really activate your higher self. These are just higher um, level leveled opportunities when you receive a portal, right? To be able to go through that, right, and receive, activation into consciousness of your higher self. Okay, that's all it is. So utilize the energy, harness it, right? That's what I was getting with the major vibrational shifts, Mandela effect. I don't know what it's called. Somebody said it was the Schumann resonance or some. I don't know, but I know it's something that's majorly got to do with time, frequencies, and things of that nature. Is what I channel specifically. So be that as it may, right? The technical name for it. We know that these are just opportunities, yes, right? So the shadow is even the shadow is reminding us. You know what I'm saying? Like these are straight channel psychic, like messages here. So bliss, right? Let's get into it. Like I said, we're gonna pull three. Like I was saying in the beginning, we're gonna pull three cards. Three cards, past, present, future. These three cards are going to tell us exactly what's going to happen, how we will move forward, as well as advice in the future, how to move with what we have, okay? How to make the best decisions moving forward with what will be on the table, what we will be experiencing, right? So let's go ahead and dive in. Past, present, and future messages for the collective. Future. Okay. And the future is looking bright. Just so we know, so we clear. Let me cover up her little boobies and stuff. But just so we clear, right? This is a star card. Okay. The future looks really, really, really bright. Now, in the past, there was a new fresh start that all of us needed, okay, especially when it came to relationships with partners, relationships with our parents, others, whatever it was, right? While we were experiencing these major shifts, okay, the shadow constantly is coming up to let us know, hey, there's a new start here. We don't have to hold on to this. We can, because shadow, shadow likes to be the petty one, the petty us, right? But even the shadow knows when there's a new opportunity, we have to go and embark upon it, right? So in the past, that's why it came in reverse. It was like there was a resistance here for us in the collective, right? And I feel like the resistance was organically orchestrated. I feel like you needed to resist that for those of us that were, right? We needed to experience that. And even those of us who were not resisting it, it's still, that fresh new beginning where you don't exactly know what's going on, right? You're still new at something. It's still that beginning path, right? So that's what we were dealing with in the past, right? A lot of new beginner mistakes, right? Learning things, right? Now, what's so pivotal here for this particular message is How you learn to celebrate yourself because you started to honor your shadow. And I think we've gotten to this place of spiritual ego to where we forget about the shadow. And the shadow is the one that elevated us to our higher level. If it wasn't for the shadow, where would we be? Right? We have to understand how pivotal it is to where we are, right? Consciously. And it's in honoring that, right? With that page of wands, it's in honoring. Where's the enthusiasm for the small man, the short one? What do they call it? The what do they call it? The I can't think of it. What is it? Underdog, y'all. See, it's like you've always been that. No matter how big or small you perceive yourself, you've always been that. And that's the thing. Like, where's the love for the underdog? Because you know that's always who you've been. Like, so you gotta be real with that. Like, and that's okay. Because you always still come out on top as the winner, as the victor. Because you were never afraid to start where you had to start. Wherever my beginning is, that's where I'm gonna start. I don't need a head start. I just need a new start. I just need a fresh one. And that's the thing. A lot of people couldn't move forward because they were stuck. And that's what Shadow's telling you. Like, even Shadow knows when it's time to move, we gotta move. And that overcoming that, you overcame that with the page of wands, with that energy. See what I'm saying? In the present situation. That's how you know that you're a naturally born like badass spiritually. It's like you're born unbreakable, right? It's something about who you are. The final message I have out is in the star card. Okay. I'm not gonna pick her up. She's naked. Bless. But what I'm getting out is that for the future, you guys, there's a lot of trust. And I keep saying naked, she's naked. They're telling me that's vulnerability. So something about in the future embracing your nakedness, your vulnerability, embracing that because you were so new starting out that you didn't take the, oh, I'm gonna learn from all these. I want to learn from myself, right? I want to take this natural, my own beaten path sort of way, right? That's the fool. I'm gonna beat my own path, beat my own drum, right? Walk my own path, beat my own drum. What the heck ever? Who cares? Who cares? Anyways, I love using these things, and then I don't know what the heck I be saying when I get ready to use them. I love it. So that's where we are as a collective. You know what I'm saying? In the future, I'm really seeing great things because it's like you're free now in the future collective. It's like in the future, it's like you activate all superpowers through this beautiful uh, dance of learning to give yourself grace, right? Why not? You give it to everybody else so freely. And that's what your shadow knows that about you. That's why your shadow can't stand that because your shadow knows that about you. And that's why your shadow holds that so hard. It makes your, matter of fact, your transition and your process so difficult? Because your shadow's like you're rejecting me when you have to work with me in order so that I can ascend you to your higher self. But if you keep rejecting me, we gotta keep going through this. It's like being mad at the teacher, almost, right? So because I'm mad at the teacher, I'm not gonna get my lesson. I'm gonna interrupt the class. I'm gonna do all these things, right? Like, so, you know what I'm saying? So in the future, because of that natural, like, hey, fuck it, I gotta go back to what I know, right? And that always works for you. I feel like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like that natural trust and that natural enthusiasm for life, especially difficulty in life, right? It's like it makes you such of a warrior spirit. It makes you such a of a, you know what I'm saying? Because when you think about the Page of Wands, it's like this the one that like you know, it's like he always makes it through like with some sort of like, you know, grace because of his attitude, you know? It's all about attitude. You got the proper attitude for the job. You see what I'm saying? That's why you win every time. Just period. In the future, collective, I really see us winning. I keep wanting to pick this star card up. My bad. I can't pick it up. It's nude. But again, it's an embracing that quality of you more. Your nudity, embracing that, loving on that, being more gentle with yourself. Stop judging yourself so harshly. Your only competition is to be better than who you were yesterday. That's the only race you in, right? And I think it's really in this in the core right now being established through that again, positive attitude, not just like oh everything is all positive, love, light. Because you know Shadow is not even on that type of time. I was gonna say shit, but Shadow is not on that type of time. Okay, first of all, but it's through that positive, more positive aspect of you and having a more positive attitude about life and how I'm gonna receive or perceive life, right? That gives you more natural authority when you walk into a room when you're enthusiastic about it, right? Instead of coming in a room and you're the negative one, right? It's all about attitude. Two different people come in the room on two different attitude, right? Let's see who's more received, right? You see what I'm saying? So it's that in the journey we call life, right? That's what I think the message that Shadow is trying to drill home to us this week. All right. Let there's a confirmation. Let me know how you guys like this message. I love you guys so much because nobody understands me like y'all. Okay. Period.